Since 1954, Terrebonne General has been a beacon of health and hope in our community. As we mark 7 decades of dedication to your well-being, Terrebonne General Health System remains committed to advancing healthcare, improving lives, and expanding our services to meet your evolving needs. In celebrating our past, we look forward to a future filled with promise and progress. Your health is our legacy. To discover more, visit tghealthsystem.com.
Hello and welcome back to this edition of Bayou Time. Your host, Keith Weissite. Thank you so much for joining us. However you may be joining us, we appreciate it very, very much. I don't always tell people, but I am a local social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. Very excited about the people who are on the desk with us, as they are some outstanding individuals recognized by our community. First, we welcome back Dr. Hugo. Dr. Hugo, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
I appreciate that. Sitting next to him is Taylor Bergeron. Taylor, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
All right. Sitting next to her is Mr. Christian Bergeron. Thanks for joining us, Christian.
Absolutely. Thank y'all for having us.
Absolutely. And so, of course, you guys come from lots of different places, but everybody kind of does. Doc, let's talk a little bit about your story. People have seen you. They know you from Terrebonne General, been here for a few years, but let's talk a little bit about your story of getting here and your excitement of being here in Houma.
Yeah, absolutely. I was born in Nigeria, moved to Jamaica as a young boy, and I came here for undergrad. I went to Nicholls State, go Cardinals.
Not a boy.
I know. I love me some Nicholls State. Went to Nicholls State, worked for about a year at Chabert before going to medical school. I went back home to the Cayman Islands. My mom lives in the Cayman Islands, and for medical school, and then came back here for residency at Chabert again, and Tulane for pulmonary critical care, and back to Houma for work at Terrebonne General.
Wow. And so lots of home, away from home, and then back home, right? I love that idea. Appreciate the fact that you're a colonel and you support that and coming back. What's been the best thing about practicing here in Houma? What's been the most exciting thing for you?
It has to be the people. I think I often think that my role is as a physician, as a doctor, is in part, of course, taking care of whatever problems from a medical standpoint that people have. But the best part is the community that you develop. One of my favorite things is when it's, pick the season, duck, deer hunting, shrimp, or whatever it is, and a patient comes and, he's like, hey, doc, I went hunting, and here I got some for you. And a part of being, it's like being a part of a family, even though you don't get to actually be in those dining rooms.
Right.
And how much it means to my patients. And so I think that's by far my favorite. The people here are fantastic people, very kind, very community oriented, thoughtful, and it's easy to be a provider for them, and that's easily my favorite thing about here.
Easy to feel at home when you feel like you're part of the family.
I've never felt out of place here. I've never felt out of home here.
Right.
I remember the first time I came to Nicholls State, it felt bizarre at first. Growing up in Jamaica, I think the first thing that stood out is that you guys don't have fences here.
Nope.
In Jamaica, everyone has fences. No fences here. Your neighbor's house is right there. You can walk across there.
And if you had a fence before Ida, you don't now.
You certainly don't now. And then the way things are very communal. Mardi Gras, crawfish. No one boils crawfish for themselves.
Nope.
No one. You don't really cook gumbo for yourself, right? It's always for more people.
Yeah.
More than one person, certainly. And I love that.
Case in point, my cousin who is single, he has a huge new burner, boils 4 sacks of crawfish.
That's it.
He's single.
That's it.
And he wants to move it, bring it to my house, leave it here, because we're going to feed a whole lot more people here.
That's it.
So I promise I won't ever fire that up without calling you, Dr. Yu. You have my
Please
word.
don't. Please, I'll be there. I'll be there.
Very good. Let's move on to Taylor Bergeron. Let's tell us your story a little bit. But first, you're the Vice President of Sales and Purchasing over at Richard's. So tell us a little bit about your story.
Yeah, I came here to Lafourche Parish when I started undergrad, also at Nicholls State at the Chef John Fulce Culinary Institute. I'm originally from a really small town up north Louisiana, kind of central Louisiana, called Anacoco, Louisiana. And going into my senior year of high school graduation, I needed to know what I wanted to do and where was I going to go. And so I kind of got this opportunity of Chef John Falls Culinary, and I was like, this sounds interesting. The only degree program in culinary arts that you can get in the state of Louisiana. And so just coming down here, starting with a fresh start. My parents are 4 hours away, and they definitely supported me during school. Traveled a lot back and forth to see them. But when I was down here, I also noticed like the community, the sense from the chefs that I had in school and the peers around me. I noticed like real quick that you fall in love with the Bayou and the food, of course.
The Bayou and what comes out of it.
Right, exactly. And just the different cultures that you get down here. It's so diverse, and in a culinary industry standpoint, I really love that. After graduation or during school, I traveled a little bit in Europe, and I realized I wanted to travel a lot. And after graduation, I unfortunately did graduate during COVID. So we moved to Baton Rouge for a year. I worked in a bakery over there. I was running it, and quickly, while in school and running this bakery, my first job out of college, I realized the kitchen's probably not really for me. Just kind of late hours, things that I didn't really believe in. And I knew there could be more. So when I received a call from my now boss and owner of Richard's, he was like, look, I think there could be more than just a kitchen for you, right? Like people get burnt out, you're working hours, or you're working with people that maybe you don't really like. Try this. And I was like, well, let me try this, okay? Yeah. So we moved back in Houma. I actually lived here for a few months with my in-laws as I got started and to like establish back here. Not gone for long, but Terrebonne and Lafourche. And ever since then, my love for the community and Richard's, like, I just can't seem to get away.
Well, we're glad you're here. I have a very similar story to share with you about another chef who's done things very similar. And I promise we're going to have some time for you, Kristen. We're going to take a short break. Thank you for joining us for this first segment. We're going to come back, do that and a whole lot more. So we ask you to join us as well. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back right here on Bayou Time.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality.
Hello and welcome back to this edition of Bayou Time. Again, your host, Keith Whiteside, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. Very glad you're joining us, however you may be joining us. We appreciate it. Of course, we're talking with Dr. Hugo and with Taylor. Very glad, and they are the Houma Terrebonne Chamber Honors Outstanding Young Achievers. But we want to also find out from Christian. Christian, tell us a little bit about your story, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm born and raised here in Houma, went to a local high school, moved away for a few years for college. I'm an alum of UL Lafayette. Got my degree in political science, then decided that I was going to go to law school. I went to law school at Southern University Law Center, and about a month into law school, I decided I didn't want to be in law school.
Not for me.
But I stuck it out, right? I knew that a lot could come from it, and it would open some doors, and I knew that having the degree would be worthwhile.
Okay.
So throughout law school, all of my colleagues or classmates were doing clerking for judges or internships with law offices. I decided to pursue politics. Was lucky enough to get an internship first with the parish here in Terrebonne Parish, then with Senator Bill Cassidy's office, and eventually got an internship with Representative Graves' office. Stayed in touch with the office, knew that that was where my passion lied, so made sure to be a close friend of the office even throughout the years when I finished law school.
Right.
About 6 months after finishing law school, and I was still looking for what I want to do with a career, and Congressman Graves' office called me and said, hey, we have a position for you in the Bayou region, and it was just kind of a perfect fit. I knew the people, I knew the places, and And I knew the office as well, right? I was close with the office, so it made it a very easy transition.
Right.
And ever since then, I've just been such a close member of the community through work, but also through our personal life and through what Taylor and I do together. And so I could not have imagined a better place to start my career. And I think it's been an awesome opportunity here in the Bayou region.
Very cool. It's really, really interesting. We kind of, with the four of us on here, Doc went to school, kind of knew what he wanted to do, went to med school, became a pulmonologist, and certainly loved that. Going to culinary school, there's a lot of people that go to culinary school, and they're not necessarily the people that want to stay up all night cooking or wake up very, very early in a bakery cooking. And some are just, want to be in the kitchen, but some don't. Yes. Right? And so it's really, really interesting. And same thing with people who go and get a law degree. One of my favorite stories is this friend of mine, she went and got a law degree. She's a JD and decided, I really want to help people in a different way. So she went back and got her master's of social work. And so it's just really, really interesting. She's a social worker and a lawyer. And so it's kind of very cool. But you guys have all been awarded this really unique honor here of Outstanding Young Achievers. And so, Christian, we'll start with you, if that's okay. Tell me maybe about finding out about it and what it means to you.
So funny enough, my wife knew I was winning the award. I knew she was winning the award, but we didn't know that each other was winning. So
his, hers, and ours.
Yeah, and so I was there to support her. She was there to support me.
Right.
And I think the biggest honor of it is that we were able to win together.
Wow.
We do so many things in the community together. I think you very rarely see us not together. We like to present ourselves as a team in the community. And so to win the award together, it shows that the community acknowledges us and our time and effort. And it was just it's such an honor. That's all I can say. Yeah.
That's really, really cool. So tell us a little bit more, Taylor, about you. Again, same story, right? Knowing about him, not necessarily about you.
Yeah, but I didn't realize they gave the award to multiple people, which it makes very a lot of sense.
Right.
There's so many people in the community, a lot of them under 40 that I know that are deserving of the award. So going into it, I was like, yes, I can't wait, because supporting your spouse is like my favorite thing to do. So when they started to continue to announce people, and I was like, this is weird. And
really cool and weird all at the same time.
For sure.
Awesome.
It was really nice. So definitely a great honor of the community to recognize us.
Wow. And as much love and passion as you have for the people here and being here, tell us what it's like to be able to be honored as this young achiever.
Yeah, it was a tremendous surprise. I think, especially, if I have to, I know they've told your story, but I think hearing, everything that, my co-recipients won, I think being honored along with them, I think that meant a lot too. They're doing tremendous work. We didn't get a chance to talk about some of the deeper things that they're doing for the community, and from a medical perspective, that really means a lot to me. So I think that is part of the honor for me. Certainly that the community felt that I was deserving. I think most of us don't really do this for the
accolades, right? For the achievement.
It's just something that, to me, I'm doing my job. I'm doing what I think I owe this place that has given me so much.
Right.
And it feels like a tremendous privilege to do what I do for this community in particular.
Right. So, Taylor, could you tell us some of those things that you and your husband are kind of doing in the next 30 seconds or so for the community?
Yeah. So recently, in the past year or so, we lost our little girl last year. And with the support, thank you, with the support of the community, we knew in the time of her being in the hospital that her life here on the earth had more meaning. So we chose to donate her organs. And with the support of the community, we were like, okay, we have to take this further. How can we spread the word about our nonprofit is actually about organ donation. And we're just working towards covering the whole state of Louisiana, getting to tell people what the impact can be for other people's families too, right?
Well, and so not only taking that, moving it forward for your loss and moving that forward, and for a physician, I would tell you as a social worker who's done that for years, for 15 years, working with LOPA and working with those teams to find ways to change people's lives, to save their life, not just improve their life, but save it. Thank you. So congratulations to all three of you for what you do, for what you've done, and what you continue to do for this community. Y'all are married to each other and married to the community all at the same time. So thank you very, very much. God bless and thank y'all for what y'all are doing.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys, and thank you for watching. We appreciate it. That'll do it for this particular Bayou Time, but don't go anywhere. A whole lot more local programming right here on HTV.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough.